Well, welcome back to Late Night Conspiracies, everybody. Let's get you some tonight, shall we? You don't have to like the video, you don't even have to subscribe unless you want to, but let's jump right into it, and we'll talk. Roll it.
Yeah, with that UFO guy, Bob Lazar.
Oh, you did? Lazar went there with you?
Yeah. And Andrew Schultz went with me too.
Yeah.
And Jeremy Corbell, the guy who made the documentary, we all sat around talking to him.
That Lazar dude freaked me the fuck out, man.
Ooh, he's a freak out.
Made me want to move.
I had no indication that he's full of shit. I mean, I was
bullshit meter.
Here's the thing, man. When you've told a story for as many years, as many times as he did,
Yeah, almost 3 decades, right?
it's super hard to be consistent if you're just making everything up. It's super hard to have things that you're saying back then that everybody says don't even exist.
Right.
Eventually turn out to be true. It's very different.
And recently a new documentary came out, I believe it's called Age of Disclosure, and in that one we had military officials and they're talking some batshit crazy stuff, but you know what? If you're somebody that has followed Bob Lazar for decades, if not years, it's basically nothing new. And the stuff that is being said by the military officials is basically corroborating what Bob Lazar said almost 3 decades ago. It's insane to me that the stuff that Bob Lazar said almost 3 decades ago is still checking out today. More whistleblowers, and in fact, like military officials, high-ranking military officials are essentially corroborating what he said 3 decades ago. And it's like, my God, like, was he actually telling the truth? Obviously, I'm a believer, but I'm trying to play both sides there. But holy crap, I think he was not lying. But we'll talk.
Difficult to deny that. Like, these are parts of his initial story. His initial story had something to do with this thing called Element 115, which most people, I mean, they didn't even recognize that it actually existed until much later, right?
I believe he said it around like 90s or 1989. And it was put on the periodic table 2004, 2005, somewhere around that time, and people call it the 115 Lazarium.
That's a big feature of it.
When did he start talking about it?
He started talking about the 80s.
Yeah, that was 70s, 80s, right?
I think.
A long time ago.
But it's about, look, I don't
I think in 1989, but I could be wrong, definitely.
know enough about elements and
somewhere around that,
the table to understand it.
You're talking to a state school kid here. I don't know shit.
We're both stupid. You're probably more educated than me, though. But at the end of the day, this guy is obviously smart as fuck, and he's a scientist that definitely worked at Los Alamos Lab. There's a record of him there.
Right.
And they tried to deny that. They tried to erase it. That alone tells me, just the fact that they tried to say that he didn't exist, he never worked at Los Alamos Lab.
That is
freaking me out,
huge
man.
Freaky.
Because in the 1980s, you don't think they could just erase your past?
Right.
You don't think?
And see, this was one of the biggest things that people latched on. If you didn't know, well, apparently all of his past, except for one, okay, let me actually show you this, okay? Except for one was taken out. And nowadays obviously everything's become digital, which is true, right? In some other countries, let's just say in third world countries, they're taking notes, they're writing it on the registers, they're handwriting stuff. When you showed up to work, your name, the date, the time when you left, and all that. And that was very much normal back in the days. Now, not so much. And that's the thing, though. So Bob Lazar, it's insane to me, like back in the 80s, back in the 90s, they tried to erase his past and they succeeded, except for this right here, this one. So this one was the biggest point, okay? And this one was insanely huge, and people were like, yep, boom, this confirms that Bob Lazar's story is legit, because the government tried to remove his past, his name, from like everywhere. I believe for goodness, man, they even removed his birth certificate, and they tried to remove the fact that he was ever born in whatever hospital that he said he was born at. Just ludicrous shit, man. That insane. But Bob Lazar also did say that he worked at a Los Alamos. Investigative journalist George Knapp found Bob Lazar's name listed in an old internal phone directory for Los Alamos. This was significant finding because the Los Alamos National Laboratory had denied he was an employee there. Oh, shit. And basically we found out his name entry in the registers. Had it been this story came out like now, like let's just say 2025, maybe you're watching in 2050, it would have been digital and the government would have removed everything. And I'm sure like they threatened, but they got caught red-handed because his name was in the register there. So yeah, after that was found out, everybody was like, nah, you're right, bro. He's a real one.
Yeah, they could just erase your birth certificate, or erase your medical records, or erase your dental records. They could do whatever they wanted back then.
Well, what's that? Tell me you saw that documentary about the 3 identical strangers. Did you watch that?
I heard about it. I didn't see it.
Bro.
I heard.
Oh my God. I mean, essentially, in so many words, without divulging too much, 3 brothers are born, triplets are born, and they are separated at birth, unbeknownst to them. They grow up completely independently, run into each other later in life. Jeez. This was in the 70s, I think it was, 70s. And they meet publicly on, maybe not Donahue, but one of those fucking big shows. You know, like they bring them all together.
Yeah.
And they end up finding out later in the documentary, spoiler alert, that there's a company who is doing this, that's doing trial tests on babies that are separated and putting them with different families to find out if they end up growing up with similar characteristics.
It's a nature versus nurture.
Yeah, nature nurture scientific experiment.
But imagine how sick you have to be.
Fuck.
To decide to separate kids.
Yep.
Right.
And show up and test their family to find out how they're breeding these, or how they're growing these children.
Christ.
Gross as fuck. You watch it?
Yeah, no, that gotta be criminal though. Even if they're doing it for science, for data analysis, for testing, that gotta be criminal, man. That's insane, right? Imagine like imagine you have a brother or a sister, but you don't even know.
You're right, Jamie?
They'd come test them every week or two, and just like doing checkups, and the parents almost didn't even know. I'm not sure.
Well, one of the parents seemed to be more keen about it, and the other ones just felt like, well, they were getting money for it, so they were like, this is just a part of a program that we're in.
Bro, how is that much different than aliens abducting people and
that's what I'm saying. It's not.
Tests?
It's not. That's my point. Is like, if they got away with that,
involuntary life and genetics test.
Yeah.
bro.
Just because like they wanted to test, and one of the parent was like, okay, I'll do it for the money. Yeah, I mean, I get it. Like, or I don't want to judge that parent, because I don't know the circumstances. Maybe they were really low on money. Maybe they really needed the money. But still, man, like, that's your kid, you know what I'm saying?
Involuntary.
Supposedly they have the data from that too. Like the nurse or the assistant from the doctor that was doing it says there is data. She has read it, but it has never been released, and it should be because they fucked up all these people's lives.
Wait, you're leaving out an important part.
Probably.
It's in a library, in like Harvard library, and it legally can't be released to the public. It's something it's someone's holding onto it, and it cannot be released. They've tried hundreds of times, and it's got a 2050 release date or whatever. They're waiting for these people to die.
Yeah.
So then it'll just go away, and no one will think about it anymore. It's fucking, dude, watch it. It'll fuck you up.
I'm scared.
And then you find out in the documentary, they're not the only ones. They've done this over and over and over and over.
God.
It's fuck, dude. I'm sitting on a plane watching it, and
That's reptilian.
Yes. You know when you're on a plane watching something so good, and you look around like to other people, you're like, oh, you fucking. No one's watching it, but I'm like, this fucking shit. It was so trippy, man. It's so trippy. So yes, do I think that Lazar had people trying to ix out his pet? For sure.
And there's a
in this day and age, you think it goes both ways, right? Because everything is so digital that if you try to erase somebody's past, you're gonna be able to find out through different means. For example, the Wayback Machine, you know, because whatever you put online is online forever. But still though, for somebody, let's just say, who's not famous, or, you know, just a regular dude, right? Erasing their past, as in like their birth certificate information, their medicals, their dental stuff, where they worked at. Yeah, if there is no written proof, that gotta be easy though. And once you delete it, it's gone, right? Unless somebody speak up and give you their testimony, or you find the name written in the registers. Yeah, other than that, it's freaky. So if that were to happen now, I guess the government would have been succeeding in terms of getting rid of his entire past.
Lot of other stuff that you gotta go, I don't know. How do you prove that? How do you explain that?
Well,
I don't know.
Isn't that like anything in our world? What do you believe in?
The big questions are, is it education background? That was a big one.
What do you mean, credibility-wise?
No, whether or not he actually was educated at a certain place.
They removed that too, right?
I can't, this is a fucked up one, but I can't say what he told me. But essentially, without saying it, it had to do with projects he was working on.
Currently?
No, at the time.
Oh, right.
When he was working at Los Alamos Labs. I can't say anything more than that.
Fuck. And now the internet explodes.
But I don't know if it's true.
Right.
I told him I wouldn't say anything, so I said I wouldn't say anything, and I'm not going to say anything. But whatever he said about all these different things, only he knows if it's true. So when you're talking to a guy He doesn't seem like a liar. Seems like he's very intelligent. I mean, when he's talking about all kinds of different things, very intelligent. So either he's running the greatest 30-year con of all time, or maybe this really did happen. When you talk to him, so you're just guessing. You don't know. I don't know his life. I don't know his real life, right? I'm just guessing. But he seems like a guy who's seen some shit and just didn't know what to do and told some friends about it and then went to the news.
He got busted.
And that's what that George Knapp guy, who was the investigative journalist that studied this case, over all the years, like, this guy's never wavered.
Like, he's stuck with the story over and over.
And things have shown to be true that they said were science fiction. Like the, there was this equipment that they had at Los Alamos Labs that he talked about, where it was this thing that measured the distance, or the size, rather, of the digits in your finger. And apparently it's like like your fingers, the inches are specific. And so, like, if you put your hand down that thing and then Jamie's hand, it would give a different measurement. Like, there's each bone is a different length, and the exact length is of like 1.7, whatever the fuck it is, 1.7 inches, like whatever measurement tool they use. It was calculating the length of your fingers through some kind of buggy system that he said didn't really work that often. But people said that's science fiction; it doesn't exist. And then they finally got photos of these things.
And now it exists. They're right. Yeah, that was something. Yeah, he said a lot of the things back in the days that were later proven to be true. He also brought in some friends at Area 51, and he was like, okay, that day, this time, we're gonna see some lights in the skies, UFOs being tested, and yep, that turned out to be legit, right? At least that's what we believe, right? And before I forget, really quickly though, we're getting late on this one. I need to take a second to shout out all of you guys out here for being here. Shout out to you guys for dropping the tips, the super thanks, the homie Standuman, the homie Cody, Ruru, and Evie. Thank you guys so much for all the love on the channel, for you being here, especially liking the video, subscribing, the tip, and the super thanks, and all that. Thank you guys so much for being here. Really, really appreciate it. All right, let's get back to the content here. Boo, roll it.
People that worked at Los Alamos Labs concluded, or they conceded that these were a real thing.
But for a long time, they were fighting it, being like, that's not real.
Some people that didn't know were saying he made that stuff up. It doesn't exist. But it showed it does exist, and it did exist right there where he worked. He even took them on a tour through the labs. Like, he knew where everything was. He used to work there. So when they went there with the documentary crew with Jeremy Corbell, they just walked him through. He showed where he worked. He walked right in there.
Dang.
Maybe the guy's running the craziest con game of all time.
Yeah.
And he's just a super genius and way smarter than me, and he tricked me. And he thinks.
And yeah, in that New Age of Disclosure documentary, a lot of the high-ranking military officials basically saying the same shit that Bob Lazar said 30 years ago. So that's just more ammo. That's just more confirmation of what he said at the time was true. I don't personally, guys, I don't think he was lying. I think he was telling the truth. If he was lying, he gotta be in Hollywood, right? And I also don't think that he was lying either. Whatever he said is 100% real, with obviously some caveats, because maybe he had some things wrong, not because he was lying, but because of misinterpretation or misunderstanding. But other than that, I do believe that what he said was honest truth, or he believes what he saw was real, or whatever happened to him was real. I don't think he's lying, but either it's true or he believes it. Simple as that, right? Which in other words would mean that whatever he said is not true, but he believes it. He has 110% conviction in everything he said. So yeah, but now more stuff is coming out, and if you have been following Bob Lazar for years and years, you're looking at everything that's coming out and you're like, yeah, bro, we know that. How did we know that? Well, Bob Lazar, because he told us all those years ago, and we're basically getting the same shit but packaged differently.
It's hilarious. Or maybe he saw some shit. What he was explaining that made it more and more interesting was how compartmentalized it was. And about how the problem with being so compartmentalized is that science is based on free exchange of information.
Right.
You have to have guys who are testing all these different things and working on them together. That's the only way you can do it. So he's limited to a couple of guys that are working on the propulsion system, and then there's a couple other guys that are working on the metallurgy, and a couple other guys that are working on the navigation system. And they chose him because he was kind of a maniac, and he put a fucking jet engine in the back of a Honda, and it was on the cover of the Los Alamos newspaper. Right. And it said in the article about Bob Lazar with his fucking jet-powered Honda that he was a scientist at Los Alamos Lab, a physicist. So this was in the newspaper. They printed this when this guy was doing this thing where he said he was living at the time in the area where Los Alamos was, and it said in the newspaper that he worked at the lab. There's a fucking logbook of employees. It's got his name in it from that time. A guy had it.
That's why we know he was, at least that part was actually true, but they tried to erase it. Nowadays, you don't get log, or it's not as common, right? You don't get registers or logs.
Showed it. They took photos of it. They showed it to everybody. Look, we have an employee logbook.
Yeah.
Like this, or the employee directory, rather. Robert Lazar, right there. So he worked there. He really did work there.
How could you fabricate that shit?
Everybody's scared to talk. All the people that he worked with are scared to talk.
Why do you think that?
Look at what's happening to him, man. He looks like a fool. The FBI raids his house. Everybody calls him crazy. He didn't want to have anything to do with this. The only reason why he wanted to do my podcast, he wanted one more chance to just get it out in a form where it's just him talking. And he felt like he and I, and we both talked about it. I think me and you talking. I'll just let you talk. You tell me what happened, and I'll let everybody figure out if it's true. I don't know.
What do you think, honestly?
There was parts of me that said maybe I'm just dumber than this guy, and he's like really manipulative, and maybe he just knows how to tell a story and
You're
stick
pretty
with
fucking
it.
keen, dude.
I know, but it's a tricky thing, man. You can get cocky. You can get cocky.
I feel like you
can get cocky and think that you know that someone's not full of shit.
Yeah, but I feel like you talk to enough fucking people who are and aren't full of shit that your meter is higher than most.
I'm also nice. So when I'm trying to talk to someone, I want things to work out well.
You're giving the benefit of the doubt often.
I want them to have a good time.
Yeah.
When we're talking, I don't want to confront people.
Yeah,
even if I angry.
Yeah, because like when you start a conversation with someone, regardless of what topic you're talking about, but if you show the disagreement part right in the beginning, they're not gonna open up to you, right? But if you're like, oh, okay, tell me more. You're curious, you're naturally excited about it, even if you think that person is full of shit. Yeah, that's gonna make them open up more. And maybe through them opening up more, maybe you're gonna be realizing, okay, well, shit, okay, maybe whatever they're saying is actually true. You may have a learning lesson through that, right? So it's just about that, just not disagreeing right in the beginning. Just let the other person, or listen to the other person and see, and go from there, essentially.
Really disagree with every fiber in my being. As I've gotten older and better at talking to people, I avoid that kind of conflict.
Right.
I don't think it's necessary.
But I just think your bullshit meter is keen enough where you'd be like,
I think it's super cocky to say that. I would like to think it is. Yeah, my ego would like to say, bro, I can fucking tell. You can't lie to me, bro. Just try to lie. I've had people lie to me, man.
Dude, I know NASA, bro. That ain't NASA stuff. You know what I mean?
I think there's times when you know someone's full of shit, and there's times where you think you know someone's full of shit and you're wrong. And then, it's like this whole thing of looking in someone's eye and talking to them. Sometimes someone will tell you something like, oh, bro, I didn't even know you called me. You're like, you motherfucker. You see it right in their eyes. Like, you piece of shit. You didn't
I didn't see your text, man. I didn't even see it. You didn't? It said you fucking saw it.
Right.
You tell me you're a Bigfoot.
What the hell?
It said you fucking saw it.
Bigfoot, what? Is Bigfoot an interdimensional creature? Yo, this about to get interesting, though. Alright, let's get to this one, gang. But, okay, what do you think I don't think Bigfoot is an interdimensional creature. But, okay, it's gonna be interesting. Let's see.
You were telling me you were a Bigfoot guy?
Big Bigfoot guy.
Tell me about this.
Here's the problem.
You grew up in an area.
Yeah.
You're in the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah.
That's Bigfoot country.
That is. I think that's the only reason I'm so into it.
Yeah.
Also, here's the thing you got to know about talking about me. It's not ever funny. And it's something I like so much that it ends up me giving you the same arguments you've heard a billion times.
Yes.
Oh, it's Gigantopithecus, came over the Asian plain, it's a bipedal hominid, it's just,
just a large monkey.
And then at the end, and every one of my friends have experienced it, Harlan Williams just experienced it when I was on his podcast. Anytime I talk about Bigfoot, it ends up with me just...
Dang it, man. Am I the only one that has not seen an alien baddie in real life? I have yet to see a real UFO with my own eyes in real life, okay? I haven't seen a Bigfoot in real life. Dang it, man. I'm the only one, man. I want to also experience it, bro.
Just going, please, Joe, can you just say it's maybe a possibility? Like, that's what it always ends up being.
Yeah.
You said it's... I remember you one time going, there's nothing out there.
Yeah, I picture, man.
Yeah, didn't you say that about
Hunters
Bigfoot?
don't see it. That's why I don't believe in it.
Some hunters do.
No, not many.
People that see it are usually loggers, hunters, natives, people that are out in the woods.
There's another problem. Another problem is dusk. You see things at dusk or at dawn. It's very confusing. Bears walk on two legs all the time. I have personally watched bears walk on two legs, and if I didn't know any better, and if it was a dark environment, like it was dusk, you like barely can see, I would think it's Bigfoot.
Right.
Yeah. But I do think Bigfoot existed.
Yeah.
There's some insane number of Native American words for Bigfoot.
Oh, yeah.
Sasquatch is just one of them. There's a bunch of them. There's a bunch of Native American words for this one animal that's fake, but all the other words they have are for real animals. They don't have a bunch of dragons. They don't have like mythical creatures in Native American mythology, but they do have this one giant man thing that definitely existed.
At some point.
At 100%, Gigantopithecus was a real animal. It was 8 to 10 feet tall, bipedal hominid. It was a huge gorilla-looking primate that died off somewhere around 100,000 years ago, but they don't know really for sure.
100,000?
Yeah, but they don't know for sure. The thing about it is, it's like, if you only find fossils from 100,000 years ago, you could assume that that this animal at least lived then, but you don't know when it went extinct.
Right.
You might find some new fossil like 10 years from now. They might find some new site, and wait a minute, these are 20,000 years old, or these are 30,000 years old, or these are 50,000 years old. But either way, anatomically identical human beings have been around for 500,000 plus years, maybe even more. So, or similar human beings. So then we definitely interacted with them.
Yeah.
Or they were around when we were around.
I think they're still around. I think there's hundreds, maybe thousands of them. That's what I believe. I think they're in caves.
In caves. I mean, the story, I remember there was a story of the giant, right? One of the U.S. Marine talked about it, like they were in Afghanistan. Yeah, Mr. Ballin actually covered that a while back, right? If you are into that story. Yeah, so the U.S. Marines, they basically fought a giant that was inside a cave, a mountain cave in Afghanistan. I wouldn't say Bigfoot, but a giant, essentially. Yeah, literally a giant. And what happened after that? Yeah, I guess they brought that back home to United States of America. Yeah, that was the story, and it was absolutely was one of the most fascinating story, one of the most believable story as well. So I guess it's safe to say the giants existed, or maybe the giants are essentially, let's just maybe just oversized humans. I mean, technically it's that, but when we look at the giants, we think it's like a different life form. Different life forms that's not human, essentially, right? Bigfoot the same way. Perhaps it's just an oversized monkey. Probably not, but or maybe it is. Yeah, who knows, right? Who knows? But yeah, no, there have been a lot of people that have spotted creatures, but it's never really clear. There's only been a handful of images and videos that are clear enough and that are quote-unquote real enough to believe that Bigfoot is real. But other than that, there's just so many videos which you look at it and you're either like it's fake, or yeah, it's real, but you don't know, right? You can't tell if it's Bigfoot you're looking at, or just some other twat. Maybe like it's a gorilla, or maybe it's like yeah, a bear on walking on his legs. Perhaps it's that. It's just very, very hard. And yeah, and now more so than ever, the videos are being made by AI too, so it's just getting harder and harder to believe.
Or something, or maybe it's.
You know what the problem with that is?
What?
They're too big. The amount of food that they would need to eat.
Yeah.
You'd have to be grazing all day long. See, if you're Bigfoot,
Posted in the Journal of Zoology this month.
if it's there, could it be a bear?
They're saying it's black bear, American black bear.
Yeah, American black bear that stands up.
But even
Yeah,
little
that's what I'm
kids
saying.
Yeah.
would know the difference between a monkey and a bear.
No. First of all, let me tell you something. If you're in the woods and you're in a heightened state because you're looking around, you don't know what's out there. It's all thick woods. It's weird. Woods are weird.
Yeah.
And you see something, you could trick your brain. I saw a squirrel, and for like 2 or 3 seconds, I thought it was a wolf.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
That's
like, "A
real.
wolf?"
That's real
I was like,
between here.
I'm seeing something moving in between thick trees, and I see gray fur. I'm like, oh my God, is that a wolf?
Yeah.
Because there's wolves out there.
Right.
I'm in Canada. I'm like, oh no, it's a fucking squirrel. What the fuck is wrong with me? What the fuck is wrong with me?
Shoot it.
Yeah. It's like people see what they want to see.
Yeah.
And
That
the
is
problem is
true.
you get something into someone's head, a mythological thing.
It's like one of those things, right? You would be like, nah, man, I never see pink cars. Okay, I never seen a pink car. But if you believe that you've seen a pink car, or you want to see a pink car, best believe you go outside, you walk for a little bit, or one of those days you're gonna actually run into a pink car just cruising through. So it is really, yeah. Well, this is a crazy story, by the way. Okay, this actually happened to me, and basically I was like, yo, I don't see Lamborghinis here, especially like orange Lamborghinis. And I was just like visualizing it, and it took about like 3 days 3 to 4 days, and I was walking, and I was just walking on the road, or the footpath rather, and a guy just went by, and it was a Lamborghini, an orange Lamborghini, and I was like, holy shit, because I was like, I never seen any Lamborghini here, like where I'm at, right? And then I see it a couple of days later. So it really is insane, and it's fascinating. Have you ever had like any experience like that where you're like, okay, I'm just gonna believe it and see if I see it or not? Or it's also one of those things, right? Once you get a car, then you see everybody having that type of car, or whatever you have, you will see every other people also have that too. So it's interesting, man. It really is interesting. It's just that your eyes see it, but your mind don't. But when your mind see it, then it's like the mind side thing. It's not necessarily the eye side, because what they say, this is gonna blow your mind. Okay, let me actually find that.
Whether it's a UFO or whether it's Bigfoot, I think the world is way more slippery than we like to think. And I think there's states of consciousness that people can achieve during high anxiety levels, definitely during the use of psychedelic drugs.
Yes.
Sometimes during weird...
Yeah, this is scientifically proven, and it is insane. We see only a tiny fraction of reality with our eyes, as we are limited to a small part of the electromagnetic spectrum known as visible light. The visible range accounts for just 0.0035% of the entire spectrum. What this means is that whatever you see with your own eyes, because the eyes don't see, it's the mind that sees. Our eyes are basically just taking in light, and it's the electric signals that goes in the brain, and the brain is like making the image. So whatever you see right now, your eyes are basically, you're not seeing with your eyes, you're seeing it with your mind. And because with our own eyes, we see this much reality. When I first heard about this concept, bro, it's just holy shit. So we worry too much, man. We worry about 0.0035% of what we see on the planet, and that accounts for all your worries, your anxieties, and everything. And it is insane. So you gotta trust your mind side more than your eyesight. In that, obviously not literally, because if you're walking around the street and if you see a car coming toward you, you gotta believe your eyes, okay? Like, don't be dumb like that. But, you know, you gotta trust the mind side a lot more as well. Insane stuff, man, insane stuff.
States in their life, like near-death experiences, loss of a loved one, extreme see a lot going on, a lot of anxiety and fear, like you would have if you're in the woods.
Sure.
And then you see a light across the sky. It might have been just a meteorite.
Right.
But you're in the wrong headspace to see that meteorite. And you just freak.
Yeah.
And maybe for a brief moment, you can see something that's been there all along.
You know how defeated I am right now. I just want you to tell me, like, dude, there's some crazy stuff out there.
I've interviewed a lot of Bigfoot people. Yeah. I had one joke I used to do about Bigfoot. Here's what you don't find when you go looking for Bigfoot. Black people. You're more likely to find Bigfoot than you are black people looking for Bigfoot.
Not out there.
It's a bunch of unfuckable white guys out camping. That's like,
that is the thing.
It's a community of people that want to believe something that there's zero evidence for, and they're fucking locked in.
Yeah, they're hitting a tree with a stick.
Yeah, on a second though, it really is the white dudes, right, that are going around looking for it. Damn, is it just the white people kind of shit? Is it just white people looking for it? Man, but yeah, no, like I said, man, there's only been just a handful of images and videos that prove the not even, I wouldn't say 100% prove, but, you know, considers the possibility of Bigfoot being real. But other than that, like, the rest of the videos could be just misinterpretation, false info, false videos, or fake videos, or real videos, but we're just misinterpreting. But what is your take on it? Do you think that Bigfoot's real or not? I haven't seen it, but that doesn't mean it's fake or real or not real. But
Dick going like, we're gonna wait for a knockback, and it's different Bigfoot researchers hitting a different tree, talking back to him.
Yeah, it's like if you go to public land elk hunting, there's a bunch of people elk calling. You think, an elk. It's a dude with a
another guy. Elk, two men doing elk calls.
Exactly, to each other.
Across the ridge.
That literally happens.
I bet.
It does, 100%. It's one of those things where I wish it was real. I wish Bigfoot was real. Bobcat Goldthwait believes.
Yeah, he loves it.
He's all in. Did you ever watch Willow Creek?
I didn't. Piss me off because at the end it turns out to be, I'm gonna spoil the Willow Creek, but at the end it's just a bunch of like hillbillies out there killing, and blaming it on Bigfoot. Basically, that's like the end is
Wait a
like
minute, which one are you talking about?
You don't really.
Bobcat
There's no
Goldthwait's
Bigfoot
movie.
I think that's what the end is. That like it's just some crazy people that live in the woods. It's not really a Bigfoot.
Is that true?
I think that's the end of Willow Creek.
I don't remember how it ends.
Because they kind of have this one kind of like Blair Witch like shot, and it's just a bunch of mountain people, which is the scariest thing you'll find in the woods. People.
Well, that's that.
People that want to be off that grid. People
There's that documentary Sasquatch. Did you ever see that? It's like a documentary series.
Yeah, and it turns out just to be the cartel.
Yeah.
Not the cartel, but like weed people.
Weed people killing other.
Blaming it on a Bigfoot, framing it to look like a Bigfoot.
Yeah, this kind of reminds me of that incident that happened in Peru, right? Yeah, you heard that story, right? Apparently, yeah, the villagers were seeing, and they were claiming that they are seeing aliens, okay, in a village of Peru. And this is a couple months, I believe, a year or 2 years old story, maybe a little bit longer than that. But yeah, no, that was a crazy story, and it was going viral, and a lot of people were covering it. But then the officials came out with their official version, and the story was that the villagers were definitely witnessing something, but they were witnessing thieves on jetpacks. Bruh. And they were there to, I guess, steal gold. That part I'm not sure, but they were smuggling stuff and they were doing illegal stuff, basically, right? But I remember this part. The officials were saying, yeah, just thieves on jetpacks. Thieves on jetpacks. In a village of Peru. What are we talking about? Yeah, so what are the odds of that happening? I would say same as what we see with our own eyes, 0.0035%. Yeah, so that was the official narrative, but yeah.
Puts out there.
Yeah. Yeah, they killed somebody, and apparently when marijuana was, when they were growing it up there, these hippies started arming themselves.
Yeah.
And then they had rival gang wars with people that would come in and try to steal their crop.
Sure.
So they started shooting at each other and killing each other.
Yeah.
That's what that's all about.
Or also like, some cute girl that's like, oh, I'm gonna clip weed all summer and make $5,000 and hang out with other potheads who you don't realize how terrible that job is.
Well, you're involved in
missing.
illegal business.
Yeah.
And the cartel's in that business.
Hang around with the barber, hang around the barber shop, best believe you're gonna get a haircut. So hang around a bunch of bozos, you're gonna become a bozo as well.
Like, I had a friend who found a cartel grow operation on a ranch.
Whoa.
Yeah, they were
scary.
He works on a ranch in California, and he was doing his thing out on the ranch, and he found some water piping, and he followed the water piping, and it was pretty considerable distance, and they found this grow op. So this guy had diverted water, or many guys. They didn't see the humans that did it. They took their shit, and then they never caught the guys, I don't think. But they would set up these camps in, they would go to, national forests. Apparently it's big in Northern California, where they go deep in the woods. They backpack in, and then they have a massive grow op on public land.
Yeah.
And they just get it till the time it's ready to harvest, and then they get out of there. But if someone interrupts that, if they get in the middle of that, they'll kill them.
Right.
Like, these are cartel guys.
Yeah.
So my friend John Norris, he's been on the podcast before. He was a game warden, and he found a creek that had been redirected, and he thought maybe a farmer had did this. Like, what's going on? Maybe someone put an illegal dam on this. They follow it, and they find this crazy grow op with the cartel and guns, and so he winds up, instead of just being a game warden, now all of a sudden he's got a tactical team with attack dogs.
Crazy.
And they're running in fully armed with flak jackets on, having gunfights with the cartel in the woods over weed.
Yeah. I will say that's the most frustrating part about the Bigfoot subject is you got guys who really no, I think an ape could, a pod of apes could live out here and this thing. And so you'll start to, guys like me will be like, yeah, this makes good sense. And then they'll get a Native American to talk about it, and he'll be like, it's the magic man of the woods. You're like, no. And they're like, if he disappears, he flies, he can stop the rain. And you're like, this is, gosh dang it. We were making real good ground here, making arguments for it to be an ape.
I think the Native Americans are right. I think that's what it is.
Some
I think
sort of paranormal woods thing?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I think it's listen, if UFO, let's imagine that states of consciousness can interface with other things that are around us all the time that we don't necessarily see. Now, we know that's true if you take psychedelics, and we know that psychedelics are produced in the brain.
What if... Yeah, because what we see is only a tiny fraction, right? What if when you take DMT or any of these psychedelic drugs, It's not that you're, and that's the thing, right? That's one of the biggest questions. Okay, when you take these, especially DMT, because everybody that has taken, they claim that, yep, they had a crazy outer world experience, but what we don't know is, does it happen in your mind, or your soul goes somewhere? Or, yeah, right? Like, is it happening all in your mind or not? DMT is produced naturally in our minds as well, and it is being said that when we pass away at the moment of death, that's when the brain just goes crazy, releases DMT like insane in your mind. And if that is true, for example, right, like if you take DMT and you start seeing shit, I never took DMT, but yeah, but so that's what we hear from users that have experience. People that have experience, they say they take it, it feels like that, they go somewhere. So we know that the brain produces that. We know that the brain goes crazy at the moment of death, and it just shoots up that chemical inside your brain. So does that mean when you pass away? And they also say that your life flashes before your eyes, and the reason for that is because the brain is kind of like the hard drive, right? And people that have near-death experience, they would confirm that. For example, if you're walking down the street, you know, you never experienced anything like that, but let's just say out of nowhere, somebody just comes up, take a gun, put it on your head, and ask for money. Your life is most likely gonna be flashing before your eyes. And that's your mind just coming in, your subconscious, your brain, your conscious mind, your subconscious just coming in to save you. Your mind, your life is flashing before your eyes because the brain is cycling through folders inside your brain, inside that hard drive, and it's trying to find that one thing that you can utilize in this moment to save yourself. For example, if you learn kung fu shit or martial arts, then yeah, it's gonna get to that just like that. So you're gonna be like ha ti tu ti ta ta ti, and it's then gonna be all about controlling the nerves. Maybe you're not gonna take that action, but your brain would go insane on that. Yo, take that action right now, save your ass, save yourself, otherwise you dead. And so yeah, that happens. And then if you pass away, unfortunately, then I guess the brain goes insane with the DMT. And I wonder, right, like once the brain fires up that DMT chemical naturally inside your brain, what would you see then? Your soul probably going somewhere. Right, like if you're a believer, obviously, if you believe in God, if you believe in afterlife, then yeah, your soul will leave the body and go somewhere else. But the DMT is being released inside your brain. So I guess, like, in a way, it's opening up a portal. Just a guess, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I mean, it's fascinating, man. Life is fascinating. You look yourself in the mirror and you're like, ah, shit, man, I'm really in this bitch. So, yeah, man, life is fascinating, man. And I'm talking here, and you're watching. We're connecting through a camera here, and shit, it's really is insane, man. Yeah, 2 a.m. thoughts.
I can imagine a moment where you are in such a state that you could see something that you would not be able to see under normal conditions. It's not outside the realm of possibility. I'm not married to it, but it's not outside the realm of possibility. Now, if that is what we're seeing with UFOs, if what we're seeing is our future, if what we're seeing with those beings is the eventual shape that human beings will take, as evolution progresses, we become these genderless little spindly things with giant heads, flying spaceships with our minds. That kind of makes sense to me. If that makes sense, why wouldn't I?
Yeah, apparently there was a Skywatcher team that actually brought in the fact that you can control these UFOs with your psionic abilities, and there was also a conspiracy, and this conspiracy has been around for a while, that the Greys are basically future humans. Oh, shit. The gray aliens are basically us. I don't believe in that, but that is a conspiracy theory. That is a real conspiracy theory. And just a year ago, or less than that, we had the Skywatcher team saying that, yeah, well, you can see lights in the skies and you can actually look at them, and with your mind you can bring the UFO down with your subconscious or psionic abilities.
I'd be able to also see what we used to be, or what we could have been, or what other things used to live with us. And maybe it's almost like a ghost, almost like a memory that you can access of a different timeline, a different dimension where this thing does exist. And that's why it's so elusive and it comes and goes, because it's not a real material thing. It's a construct of the human psyche. But these people that are seeing it, like they might even literally be seeing footprints. It might literally leave footprint. It might exist for brief moments.
Makes sense. Passing in and out of this dimension kind of thing?
There's so many wacky stories about it. So then you have to apply the wacky stories to human psychology and say, okay, people are in a heightened state. They're in the woods. They're alone. They're nervous. There's cats out there and fucking bears. So you're kind of freaking out already. So you're in this like weird mind state already where it seems like more things are possible out there because there's no one to help you.
Right.
There's no city. There's no hospital.
Can't call the cops on a Bigfoot.
You got no fucking cell phone signal, and you're out there alone. Like there's so many possibilities. It's terrifying. And that, to me, makes sense. Like if there's a mindset that can be achieved, it's a mind state that be achieved where you interact with things that aren't there all the time, like UFOs.
Right.
That would be when it would happen.
Right. Well, there's tons of like...
It is true that the mind does play tricks on you, though. You know, there's also the element of pareidolia where you would see faces and things. So yeah, I mean, if you're in a heightened state of mind, like he said, in a forest, yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, it can be true if you're like a nervous... if you get nervous, well, yep, shit, well, you're gonna be scared, and then you're gonna start imagining the worst case scenarios.
Interesting stories that you'll just read about, like a thing just walking behind the tree, and it's not, but if it was a massive 10-foot thing, you know, you'd probably be able to see it come out on the other side of that tree. And you see a lot of
there have been videos like that, but it's just hard to prove them. There has been videos like that, and people often are like, oh yo, that's a Bigfoot, or that's like a 10 feet tall alien, Nordic, or the tall whites, my bad, the tall whites, or the Nordic can be like 6 to 9 feet also, but yeah, people will be like aliens or Bigfoot.
Those kind of, I read a lot of those kind of stories, and I'm like, I don't know what the heck that.
Yeah, it could be that, but it could also be black bears. It could be they're just seeing things because they're freaking out.
Yeah.
Bears freak you out, man. You see a bear in the wild, it freaks you out. And if you see a bear in between trees, you can just convince yourself that it's something. And then your brain plays tricks on you. The memory is a slippery bitch.
Yeah, I know.
Especially under heightened circumstances like that, like in the woods. Your memory's weird.
And it's more exciting to believe that it's real. So that's what you want to, you know, that's my biggest part. I think what I'm holding on to so much is that, like, I think it's so boring if we just know all the stuff on our planet.
Right.
I don't think we did.
You know, this is something that I actually wanted to bring that up. I'm glad he said, and that just clicked instantly. The anticipation may be better than a disclosure. The thrill, I wrote that down in one of my notes. I wanted to actually bring that up. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, the chase is always more thrilling than the kill. Maybe the anticipation is better than the disclosure. What I mean by this is that, what if... Obviously, I want disclosure, man. I want to know about the aliens' truth. I guess once we get it, there still will be more anticipation. There will still be a lot more mystery. Yo, what do they look like, right? If they show us those actual videos of aliens, then we would be like, okay, is it the only species? How long have they have been here for? You know, what do they do? What do they eat? How do they dress, if they do or not? And what do they eat? And why are they here? So we're gonna have like hundreds or thousands of questions about it, so the mystery would still be alive. So I don't think that it would kill the anticipation or anything like that, but yes, a little bit of the mystery of us being alone would surely die. You know what I mean? It's like one of those things, once you achieve a goal, you're like, that's it. So then you're on to the next one, more, and it's true for people that do the doobies, right? Like the Nesquik, the hard, I cannot say that word on YouTube, but yeah, people that do like crazy Nesquik, okay? I'm just using Nesquik, that's like a metaphor for, you know what I'm saying, okay? The cocoa and all that, right? You get your first hit, boom, you're on like the 8th dimension, right? You're like high up there. But to achieve the same level of high, you would need a greater dose, and it never stops. You would need more high to be able to get high. So you will always go for more high. You will not be satisfied with what you started out with. So you would need more. So, but maybe the anticipation is better than the disclosure.
But that's my point. It's way more exciting to think, there's Bigfoots, and there's
pterodactyls is one of my favorites.
Wolfman or Dogman or Mothman or any of these kind of like exciting things. I want to believe that.
You know about that Hobbit man that they found on that island of Flores?
No? A Hobbit man.
Good. Yeah, this is a good one for you. This is a thing that
Jamie,
absolutely lived alongside people, and I think they don't know the timeline of this fucker either. But they think it might have been as recently as like 50,000, 30,000 years ago. And they were little tiny people, 3 foot tall, like almost like ape-like creatures. That's what they look
yeah,
like.
see? Like a little baby Bigfoot.
Yeah, well, like little hobbits, man.
Okay, I'm not sure if that's like a real picture shown or it's just like B-roll footage. Obviously, we have B-roll footage that you're looking at, but I'm not sure if that's the exact thing Joe Rogan is talking about or not. I hope so.
And they lived on this island, and they were like a different branch of the human chain
Look at
that
that.
lived alongside Homo sapiens.
Yeah, see
Okay,
it-
maybe that's a real one that he's talking about, okay.
Yeah, you just think you see a juvenile Bigfoot or something.
Yeah.
Baby
well,
Bigfoot, yeah.
There's people that have cited these things in other parts of the world still to this day. They still claim that they
Structure underneath
Just
the
because
pyramids!
in that
Underneath the pyramids, what? Pyramids and the secrets of the Sahara Desert. Oh.
just because in that fragment, in that snapshot, in that slither, all we see is some humans with stone tools in caves, doesn't mean that nothing else was happening. So
Well, a good piece of evidence to that would point in that direction is Egypt. Because Egypt, even if you accept the conventional timeline of Egypt, which is 2,500 BC for the Great Pyramid, go look at the rest of the world at 2,500 BC. You don't see anything like that. Nothing even close.
yeah, they were clearly even.
And recently, a couple of months ago, we heard about the structures underneath the pyramids of Giza, right? Yeah. I don't know if that was proven 100% correct or not, but there was a whole lot of fuss about it. But nothing really. We don't have any update on that. We never heard anything about it.
If you kind of look at the conventional model of history, the ancient Egyptians were wildly ahead of everyone else.
Everyone.
It's just so weird. It's like,
So weird.
and that's if you, and the conventional model doesn't really give us any explanations of how they were doing what they were
And they
doing.
arrogantly dismiss any other explanations, which is
Yeah.
really weird. When you're talking about these immense structures that are baffling,
Yeah.
absolutely baffling to anybody who's being honest.
Yeah.
What is your take on these Italian researchers that are looking at the tomography and they're looking at these
Oh,
things
that one.
that they
Yeah, yeah,
believe are underneath the Great Pyramid and some other structures in Egypt?
Yeah, the kind the what's it
structures.
called, like SARS Toppler. I mean, I don't know. I'm always a little bit suspicious when you make sensationalist claims with new technology, and that doesn't mean it's wrong. That just
Yeah, you
gets
have
my-
to be suspicious because
yeah.
it's bonkers.
It's
I mean, if what
crazy.
they're saying is 2 kilometers deep underneath the Great Pyramid, there's
yeah.
structures, and there's hundreds of meters of these pylons, these pillars that are in uniform positions with some sort of a coil wrapped around them. Like,
Yeah.
what is that? What is that real? And they reproduce it in multiple different scans, but I don't know what they're seeing. I don't understand the technology, understand where the errors could be, like what could possibly cause it to glitch like that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I would love it to be true, obviously, because
I would love it.
Can you imagine?
That's the
Big
problem.
same,
The
big
problem
same.
is the same problem that I have with UFOs and everything else.
You
is
want it
that
to be true.
100%. So it really clouds my judgment, and then I have to get my analytical mind to say, "Shut up.
Yeah.
Let's look at this honestly."
But I mean, I think. There's definitely something below the Giza Plateau. Like that's always been written about in ancient sources, and
Yes.
these kind of scans, and then people kind of. You have stories of people going down into labyrinths.
I just have, me personally, I have a hard time believing that humans actually were capable of making that. So I have a hard time believing that part. The rest, was it like the aliens that made it? Is there like any structure underneath? I want that to be true, obviously, man. Otherwise, it would be boring, But yeah, no. The only thing that I believe in is that I don't think humans were capable enough of moving like tons of these stones, and every one of them weighed like tons of kilograms. So I have a hard time believing that, absolutely. The rest of it, maybe one day we'll know the answer to.
That aren't accepted by Egyptology, and there's definitely massive mysteries surrounding Giza and the construction of the pyramids and what could potentially be below the pyramids. And this kind of new pyramid scan project has the potential, I think, to make big progress in understanding what is below Giza. But I don't know, until there's better data out there, I'm not gonna jump to any conclusions and declare that this is like evidence of a lost advanced technology civilization or anything.
No,
like
you
that.
can't. But I am so excited about just the possibility that they're right. Because if they
I hope
are
so,
right,
yeah.
that's the greatest monkey wrench into
Yeah.
history that's ever existed. Because explain away that.
Yeah.
with ancient people with stone tools or copper. Like, explain that away.
They'd probably try, mate, because it already doesn't make sense. Their explanation for the construction of the pyramids being wooden sledges and stone chisels or whatever they say, it already doesn't make sense. It's already so ridiculous that I wouldn't even be surprised if they tried to explain away these.
Well, it'll discredit them, because the problem is, if it does indicate that the pyramid is something other than a tomb,
there's not. I don't even see any evidence that the Great Pyramid at Giza. I mean, what's the evidence that was a tomb? I mean, I don't think they've ever found a body in there.
No.
It's just a chamber which they've called the King's Chamber.
Right.
I mean, I'm not an expert in ancient Egypt by any respect, but it's always baffled me that they're so determined that the pyramids are tombs just because some later pyramids have had, mummies and pharaohs and sarcophagi found inside them. But
that doesn't mean anything, and that doesn't mean that they built it. That also could mean that the pharaoh decided that it was his and wanted to be buried inside of it, and it had existed for thousands of years before they ever even got there.
And you find bodies in buildings today, and that doesn't mean the purpose of that building was to be a tomb.
Right.
It's just someone's buried there, so someone, as you say,
it's a weird assumption. It's a very weird assumption. And did you ever read any Christopher
Nolan?
Christopher Dunn, yeah.
Christopher Dunn's work.
I know a bit. I haven't read his book, but I know a bit about it. And it's interesting. I mean, he's like a serious guy, isn't he? He's like
an engineer.
Exactly, and he has quite serious theories that...
He thinks it's a power plant.
Yeah, which would be crazy, wouldn't it?
Imagine
Especially if you add into that the Graham Hancock's ideas and some of these other people's ideas that perhaps some...
There was also like the thing about the pyramids were essentially underneath the three stars, and it's basically the coordinates, and they were basically aligned with the stars. I forgot the name of the stars. Let me Google it.
Well, these structures are far older.
Well, the kind of Orion correlation and the Sphinx.
I believe Orion, yeah.
Also, the fact that the deeper you go into the sand, the more sophisticated the building techniques are.
Yeah.
That gets weird. Like, larger stones. Like, what happened?
The whole of, ancient Egypt...
Yeah, I guess he said it. Orion Belt. Yeah, that's the one I was talking about as well. The Giza pyramids are theorized to be theorized. Okay, the AI is saying theorized. That's a Google AI for you. Theorized to be aligned with the stars of Orion's belt, Al-Nitak, Al-Nilem, and Mintaka, a concept known as the Orion correlation theory. But yeah, no, it's that one is definitely fascinating, man. The fact that humans, I don't believe that, but that's the version they tell us, right? The fact that humans were able to move tons of these stones that weighed tons of kilograms. Not only that they made that efficiently, not only that it's still standing today, not only that it's underneath those stars, perfectly aligned, not theorized, but perfectly aligned. That is batshit crazy. Nah, man, I have my doubts with that shit, man. But, did you see this video, though? Yeah, if not, man, check out this video on the screen, because the stuff that we had in this one, this is gonna blow your socks out, okay? Knock your socks out, too. Check it out, and I'll see you there.